Good morning. This was almost going to be a video at the sawmill because I know I need a little bit more siding. I think what I need more is the battens. And then I was doing some yard work yesterday and thought I would check the trailer there where I know I have my hardwood flooring, and then I found a pile of both siding and battens from last year. I guess I milled last year. I kind of don't remember that vaguely, but anyway, so I don't need to mill right away, even though I went and got fuel and I got oil and I got all the things that I need to kind of get the mill running for the year. But I think let's just take out what I've got and then go out and get another day's worth of work towards the siding. So here's all my reclaimed, salvaged hardwood flooring. I'm not going to take that out today, but here's the siding. Quite wide pieces, and then some batten stuff. And I just realized, I actually realized on the drive out here that I had taken the brake home, the second one that I usually hook up there on the wall. I had taken that because Steve had asked me to take it so that we could take it to Switzerland as part of our safety climbing gear. Normally it lives out here. I don't ever have to think about it. It lives out here, but of course I forgot to grab it back and bring it back out here. So it is most helpful for when I'm doing loads of lumber, because this guy mule does have its own brake. It has an air brake on it, but it's just not strong enough for the steepness of this mountain with heavy loads. I think I'm gonna have to do this in 2 loads. Good thing I brought gloves, and I'll just have to hold the wheel and brake it. Good morning. Another beautiful day. I'm here for the day and have about, I guess, 8 hours to get some more work done. I'm going to start off first by fixing this issue that I had above the window. When in doubt, tape it. Another thing I wanted to talk about was just a little housekeeping thing that someone mentioned in the comments, and I'm sure there's probably actually more than one comment about it, that I'm not doing this properly, where I'm not allowing the boards to expand and contract. Because I'm adding fasteners on each side, it's kind of a no-no. You should really only add fasteners, I think, to either one side or one portion of the wood, so like the center. I think the reason that I am doing it the way I'm doing it is because I'm not crowning every board properly. I have not installed reverse board and batten before. I've done regular board and batten, where you have the wide board and then the skinnier batten over top of the gap. And when I did that, I did actually just run fasteners down the center of the wide board, put the batten on, and then I ran fasteners down the center of the batten. And for some reason I was thinking that this scenario would be different, but I think it's the same. I think you would just add a fastener down the center, and if you're crowning the boards properly, they're still gonna crown towards your battens, and then you would still really only add fasteners down the center of your batten too. That will allow the wood to do what it wants to do more than adding here and here. So just keep that in mind. I don't ever feel like I'm a how-to channel. Funny, I was like, we've been sick. And I was sick on the couch for a day, and I went down the rabbit hole of watching YouTube videos of people doing stuff, and all these people doing stuff so much better than me. And I just was like, man, I suck. I just suck. But hey, I am who I am. I is who I are. I can only do things the way I do them. So just don't copy me exactly if you want a proper job. The other thing I'm realizing is the whole bug screen thing. Now bugs can get up in here and go up and live in this space. So many details. I just took one end and taped it and like rolled up a little bundle, and that's what I'll do. So I just tried that where if I just put a fastener down the center, I used a bigger one. I have smaller ones and then bigger ones. I got two sizes. But if I'm only putting a fastener here and here on the batten, I put one here and here, but I feel like it compressed the center and it's pulling out this edge. But if this edge isn't fastened on here, maybe they meet somewhere, but I don't know. I don't know. Thoughts? I feel like my theme song for the day is 101 cuts on a board, 101 cuts. Put a board up, take it back down, put another 100 cuts back in the board. I put it up, measure it, cut it, it's too long, take a little bit more off, take a little bit more off, then it's too short. Oh my God, I just screwed up. I wanted to try and trim this. It was longer than the other ones, and I thought I could just take the circular saw and just trim it a little bit, and then I nicked that. I was really hoping to just be so like efficient and get so much done today. You always have to look at the positives, right? This gave me an opportunity to make this fit a little bit nicer.
I had another thought about how I could have done that better. I don't know what I'm doing, obviously, so I'm just figuring this out as I go, and it's not sometimes until after that I'm like, I wonder if I should have just eliminated the metal drip edge and just run the siding down all the way, cut it flat, and then filled in the little gaps with blocking, never mind that breathing, and then painted all of the underneath just black. I think that might have just looked better. I don't think the drip edge is really all that necessary, to be honest, but I'm not changing it, but that's just a thought.
I mean, up close it just doesn't look that good. Right, if I did not even put this at all, just brought everything down to here, cut flush, filled in these little blocks with matching wood, and then painted this black. That probably would look better. From far it doesn't look bad, but up close it doesn't look great.
So
I've been learning some things. I think I used to have these things on the ends of the rafter tails. I don't know if it's called like a barge rafter or some sort of fascia rafter. I had them on there and then I took them off because I knew that putting the siding on would be more challenging if I had them on. I kind of didn't really think that when I put those boards back on, anything at the top is really not going to be seen unless I decide to leave it and leave those rafter tails visible. I think the thing is that I was going to put some sort of rain gutters on or something. But I was like, man, I've been paying so much attention on trying to make sure that things run top to bottom pretty nicely. And I really actually don't think that it's that important if I'm going to be covering it up anyway. Anyway. Fucking things up, 'cause that's what I like to do. Fucking things up, oh, fucking things up. That's what I like to do. I'm doing the gable end different. So I have to figure out at what point, where do I want to draw the line and how am I going to do that. Good morning, day 3. On the drive out here, I was trying to think of if I want to work on the back or the front, and I think that the back would be just a little bit more straightforward because there's no windows or doors to work around. I think I'm going to start on the front today. One of the first things I'm trying to do is figure out what to do with these windows, how to trim them out. Now, I wish I had set them further out than what I did, but I got to work with what I've done. I didn't know how it was all going to come together, the outside of everything with foam and all of that stuff, so I kind of just did what I knew at the time, but in hindsight I wish I would have pushed them out further so that my siding came up to the windows and that I didn't have to worry about kind of really doing any extra trim work. But in any case, I need to figure something out. I'm trying to think of all the different ways I can use the metal that I have. If I could go like that and then bring my siding up and then bring my siding up under here and bend this down over top of it. But I don't really have a way to secure that in very well. The other thing I could do is just take some wood. Obviously not this piece, but cut it so that it's on a bit of a slope, sloped down that way, and then I just bring my siding up underneath that, and then I put, you know, caulk or something in here. I could always add a piece of flashing later, so I'm just trying to figure that part out right now. By adding the wood, I guess I would be trying to kind of replicate something like this as best as I can. Trying to find the wood for that is the tricky thing. I put it up there. This seems to be the best option. So I just kind of put a 15-degree cut on that. I wish I had a table saw to do this. The only board, I think I'm gonna run it the whole span underneath the windows, continuous, so even in the center. I can always cut it if it looks odd. The only board that I can find that is long enough to span the width is this one 2x4. I know some people suggest to have like this sacrificial board to cut on, like when I'm using the sawhorses and everything. And I honestly have such a hard time finding a sacrificial board to cut on, because every one I'm always like, I could use that. I could use that. I don't want to wreck that, because I never know what I'm going to need out here. This might be Johnny. It's hard to tell them apart. I mean, they all look the same, and I know what you're thinking. You're like, how do you not recognize your own child? I think that one is Johnny. His tail is okay. Johnny was the most aggressive one. He was the one that was like very keen to come up to me, so I almost wonder if that isn't him, because the other one was curious about me. He came up to me, he was a lot more timid, and this one just came right up to me and took the nut out of my hand. So I think that one is Johnny. My pants are slippery. My pants are too slippery. Come here. And the other one's here too. Hi. My friends. Friends. Come here. It's a wonder how I get anything done. And then for here, I'm gonna do it different than I did the window on the side, but I need something roughly 3.5 inches. So I'm gonna case the inside of the door now. So it was really hard to cut these 15-degree angles freehand and get a very consistent straight line. So my lines are a little bit off. I feel like this is sticking out a little bit further than it should. Like here's my 2 layers of siding, and there's like 1 inch or so of extra, and I kind of don't like that. Just under 1 inch. I kind of didn't want this big bulky trim, but I don't know what else that I can do with the materials that I've got here right now. So So I'm tempted to take it down and trim it more, or if I should just leave it. Should probably just leave it. I kind of just got it to fit a little bit better. There's part of this king post that's sticking out a little bit, so I just took it down and cut a little notch out and then put it back up, because I honestly feel like I just don't want to be here all day fussing over one board, but it does fit better for sure. Okay, it's about 2 o'clock and I'm ready to start with the siding now. One thing I learned from last time that I was doing, well, the other day, is just putting a little spacer at the bottom. And it's not as though I didn't think about that before, just didn't seem to execute it. So I just have a board along the bottom to act as a spacer. It's been kind of drizzling, honestly, most of the day, and it looks like there's something coming. Getting rained on, you guys. It's 4:45 and I'm determined to finish the rest of the front, at least the bottom. Getting there. It's 20 to 6. I just have a couple more pieces, but they're time-consuming pieces. Okay, I just taped that little section a little bit more. Preparation for what the gable ends are going to be like. And it's raining, I gotta hurry. This stuff, I'm going to use all of the bark, if you will, from the siding as the gable ends. Ah! I sort of questioned whether or not, I just took this down, whether or not I should have it bump out a little bit from the window, because when I go to add the pieces of wood on the top, you're gonna see the bottoms a lot. Plus it would make it look like the rest of the doors, like how the door is kind of has this bump out to it. So I actually, at home, just before I came out, I found a chunk of cedar that I milled, and I ripped it into 1-inch strips. So they're 1.5 inches by 1 inch, and I brought some more paint. So I think I'm gonna, you know, piece them up there, paint them, and hopefully that makes it look a little bit better. I almost think it does. The only thing is that I wish that it was like 1/2 inch, not 1 inch. I should have made a few at a couple of different thicknesses. I recently purchased some new filming gear, including a microphone, and as you can tell, it doesn't sound very good. A lot of interference, so I'm hoping that this is a user error situation and not a waste of $350. So my apologies for the terrible audio in portions of this video. He's definitely the only one that comes up to me like that. The other ones won't. They'll sort of come up and then they run away. So I do think it's the same one from last year. Because this piece is too thick at the top, like the gap for this piece to fit in isn't the same throughout. So I've got to try and custom fit it. Here's my friend, can you see him? Hi, buddy. Come here. Okay, I'll feed you more. Can't believe how much you eat. I can't believe how much you eat. You must have a lot of kids. Ouch! Don't bite my finger. Take the nut. You gotta be gentle. You gotta be gentle. Gentle. Good morning. Day 5. I think this is day 5. Not super stoked that I had to come back out today just to finish that little bit, but I pretty much had set from the last week that I wouldn't post this next video until I was done the front of the cabin so that it looked different. This is such a slow process. I think just in general, you know, for me by myself out in the middle of nowhere to come out here, so it takes so long to make something look different, and I really wanted to see something transformational for the next video. So without further ado, we're going to get in and finish the front of the dang cabin and get a nice drone shot.
Shall we take a little bit off the bottom, sir?
Definitely at the place where it's dangerous on the ladder. I have to try to think of how I'm going to. I brought my harness, but even to be able to get up to the beam, the ridge beam, I need to somehow get up there safely and tie a rope around it or something. Or I'm trying to think of if I put a plank across and then stand on the plank like I used those planks before. So I'm just gonna sharpen my pencil while I think about how I'm gonna do that, because it's definitely feeling, you know, dicey as I sit on the edge of the deck here. So if I'm saying that's dicey and I'm sitting here and this isn't dicey, then that gives perspective. Ah, damn it. It's always a flaw with pencils. Makeup pencils too. I've created some sketchy scaffolding in the past. There's no reason to stop now. Perfect. I did tack it down so it won't move. Seriously. now we have our piece. Try to make a little piece for the very, very peak. Okay, we're on the last piece and we'll be done the front woodwork. We'll be done this part anyway. I figure since I'm here and I have the scaffolding there, I'm going to go around and do as much of the caulking as I can with this black stuff. Oh, there. Is it in yet? It's in. And there you have it, folks. 2 of the sides are now sided. May of 2024 marks 3 years since I started building this cabin, and in a way I'm kind of surprised that I'm still at this phase, but not much I can do about that except keep plugging away till it gets done. Focus on the things that are positive and that you can control. And that takes me back to a quote called Attitude by Charles Swindoll that I came across once when I was a teenager playing competitive hockey. One of the times I landed a spot in the BC Winter Games. You get these binders full of practice drills, meal plans, sleep suggestions, that kind of stuff. In the front of the binder this one year was this quote on attitude, and it stuck with me for life. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It is more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures, than successes, than what other people think, say, or do. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, a home. The remarkable thing is we have a choice every day regarding the attitude we embrace for that day. We cannot change our past. We cannot change the fact that people will act in a certain way. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I am convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.